start this next video?
Why don't you start out how we normally do our introduction?
Welcome everybody to the Ring Generals podcast. I'm just kidding. This is just a preview video. We're going to talk about our social media here just before you get into the actual podcast or video that you're going to watch right now. Follow us on social media at the Ring Generals for most of our stuff, specifically on Twitter at Ring Generals 1, capital R, capital G, and the number 1. Everything else you type in the Ring Generals and you should be able to find it. Guys.
What type of hat are you wearing?
Yeah. Bad transition. Guys.
I don't know. I don't know.
I lost it. It was better. Welcome everybody to the Ring Generals podcast. My name is Nick Nenad. Alongside me is Eric.
What's cooking?
And of course, the RKJ Man.
Hypocritical Nick! What's good, homie? Let's
What's
talk
good?
that talk, y'all.
Dude, there is so much to talk about today.
Competition.
We have so much content, so much competition going on. We got bounds of topics. We got stacks on stacks and stacks of wrestling and boxing and UFC and MMA to talk about today. So let's get to it. And we actually want to start the show with something rare. Normally, we reserve our independent wrestling or our indie talk to Eric's indie update a little bit later in the show, but we did something very cool this past Monday, the 13th of May. We went to a championship wrestling from Hollywood taping in Irvine, California. It was called Coastline Clash. If you're in the local area here in Southern California, you know what we're talking about. But we went there. We saw 3 tapings of a show, so it was 3 hours plus of wrestling content that we got to watch. It was a Monday Night Raw worth of wrestling.
I'm in WrestleMania.
Yeah. WrestleMania, exactly. It was only half the time, which is crazy to think of that we actually were sitting in MetLife Stadium for 7.5 hours. But championship wrestling from Hollywood. They taped 3 shows, championship matches. David Arquette, many other future AEW, All Elite Wrestling competitors were on this show in maybe one of their last few recordings. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying that. Joey Ryan was also on this show as well. So very, very cool to see. What were you guys' thoughts on the event? Just real quickly, started off for the people that kind of are listening for maybe our analysis of the show, and what was your guys' experiences?
I would have to say it's one of my favorite events out there. Definitely shout out to you, Irvine Improv, for giving us some pretty good food.
Absolutely.
Cheesecake was actually really awesome. Met a lot of great wrestlers there. LA Park, Willie Mack was really cool to talk to.
Yeah.
Got a good shirt, nice shirt from him. Definitely one of my favorite moments of the match would have to be Willie Mack that he had. It was a really good match that he had. Peter Avalon versus David Arquette. David Arquette didn't disappoint. I thought he actually did pretty good as far as wrestling ability goes. Joey Ryan, of course, cool dude to talk to. He was repping the Angels t-shirt, of course.
Yeah, just shout out to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, so definitely one of my favorites. Eric Watts was back, which I haven't seen in a long time. It's been a while since I've seen Eric Watts. Definitely one of my favorite, people that we met was, Peter Avalon. I think just the overall highlight was just meeting them in person, just having that intimate, exchange of words with them. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh.
I thought it was pretty cool. One of the, the better highlights of, the night, because usually we're so used to going to WWE events and, rarely we interact with any of the wrestlers, but in this one you get to interact with them and, you rarely get to see them sell merchandise as well, which is pretty cool. A small venue, and I hope to see them again at Irvine Improv or maybe around the Orange County area. That'd be great. But yes, hopefully to see them, in the area. Willie Mack actually did tell me that I asked him what is the next show that he's going to be going to. He said it's going to be in North Carolina. So, yeah, that's going to be a big one. It's going to be in RKJ Man's backyard,
Wait, Alfred, the official correspondent of the Ring Generals, I want you to be at that show where Willie Mack is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, Willie Mack, he put on a pretty good match with MJF, who is going to be an AEW superstar. I really enjoyed that match, I think, the most. That in the David Arquette, Peter Avalon match that you mentioned, just because of the way the story was told during the match. The in-ring wrestling technique was was very good compared to, some of the other matches that we saw. So I really enjoyed that element of it, seeing the star power of David Arquette, seeing David Arquette trip on the ropes in his entrance. That was a little interesting too. And it was overall cool because we went to Pancakes and Pile Drivers at WrestleCon, which is, you could call an independent wrestling show, but it's a little different because of the way it was laid out and how many people were there. This was truly a condensed independent wrestling show, a couple hundred people in there, a pretty good crowd for an indie show, and I really enjoyed myself. I got into it. I did some of the chants, even though I didn't know any of them. And although we were futile in some of our attempts to start chants, RKJ Man, we still have a good time, and we ate great food, and we got to talk to these guys after the match too, and get to know them a little better too. So it was cool, and we'll say this too. We'll definitely in the coming weeks and months, we will definitely have a couple of those guys on the Ring Generals podcast as well. So very good time for me, but I really enjoyed those two matches. It was Willie Mack and MJF in a singles match, and then David Arquette and Peter Avalon in the grudge match. Those are my two favorite matches. Now I won't give anything away because those tapings actually haven't happened yet on TV. So if you weren't there live, I won't give anything away. But I enjoyed those matches the most.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. RKJ Man.
For me, the experience of just being around a close-knit setting with a whole bunch of wrestling fans is something that's always great. I mean, I saw multiple people that knew me, and multiple people that we've interacted with in some shape or form and capacity at this show. And it just makes you realize that, wrestling brings people together. I talked about it last week when we were talking about how we were anticipating going to Coastline Clash, and then it got confirmed when we went to Coastline Clash. I mean, you see all these fans just piled into this small little Irvine Improv, and I certainly didn't know how they were going to do it. And I mean, they found a way to get a ring in there, and wrestlers came down through the little entrance ramp, and it was a great experience. Everybody had a great time. The food was great. Our server was great. The chants were great. As a matter of fact, I think I remember specifically in one of the matches, somebody said, a fan said, wrestler straight from Walmart. So, I mean, like, people can be brutal sometimes in these independent shows, but overall, I had a great time. It was a phenomenal experience getting to kind of talk to some of the wrestlers who I've seen on Instagram, who I've seen on TV, whether it's on Lucha Underground, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, TNA, Ring of Honor, even the WWE. It's great to be able to experience, seeing them live and then going to talk to them and having a conversation with them and just being able to just tell them how much we appreciate them for putting their bodies on the line in order for us to be entertained, because it truly is a sacrifice, Yeah. So it was a great experience. I had a great time watching it. Shout outs to everybody we talked to, especially Peter Avalon, super cool dude to talk to. And I'm just looking forward to what could happen next for the Ring Generals.
Yeah, no, it was a good experience. We just wanted to shout out Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Coastline Clash. Very well produced show as well. A couple snafus here and there, but you kind of expected. This was the first time. This was the first time they'd been back to Orange County since 2010. The first time ever at the Irvine Improv too. So it was a good event though. I'm slightly disappointed nobody hit the lights in the Raptors, which I thought were pretty close to where some of the suplexes could have happened. But
first match, it looked like it was the first match. I was like, well, there's no recording for the rest of the night after this first match.
No, exactly. I was afraid that was going to happen. And then the next time,
$25 back.
You guys also saw the ring move, right?
What's up?
You guys also saw the ring move, right? How every time they would throw in those moves, oh man, like the ring would just shake,
Looking at that ring, and I was like, this ring is getting ready to go down in a moment. It's getting ready to endure some pain, and all those people close. You think it's cool now, but it's not cool when that ring collapses. Stuff flying everywhere on you. But it made it through. The ring made it through. So shout outs to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, man. We had a great time there.
Yeah, and we'll definitely, if they come down to Orange County or if we're in the area where they record in Los Angeles, I'll definitely think about going again too.
Yeah.
But
Soon.
yeah, so shout out to all the, and the other cool thing is too is that you get to see some of the guys that potentially are going to be, big stars with AEW as well in the future. Some of these guys that are on the independent scene, younger guys that are going to be moving up to companies like WWE or literally to companies like AEW, like Avalon, Brandon Cutler, and MJF, who were featured on that show, are going to be going to. And if I'm forgetting anybody else, please mention it, guys. But so that's pretty cool too. And they had mentioned that John Cena had came through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood or something along the lines of that before, and a couple other big time guys too.
Finn Balor. Well, John Cena when he was the prototype.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. They said most recently it was Drew Gulak.
Yeah.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. AJ Styles has been through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, I mean, you look at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood from the outside perspective, you think, oh, this is, just a small indie promotion. But really, they've had some people to go on and do some great things. So that's pretty cool that Championship Wrestling from Hollywood still has that legacy of superstars, that alumni, if you will.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So anybody, any last thoughts on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood before we and Coastline Clash, the event, before we kind of switch up topics?
Just want to say thank you to Coastline Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for them coming to Irvine.
Yeah.
Irvine Improv, David Marquez, KDOC, everybody out there who worked their ass off for this show. It was definitely one for the books on this one.
Yeah, I'll definitely be trying to tune in to some of these next couple shows too, just to see if we can see each other in the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, and Chris.
At one point during the taping, I had a French fry. When we got up, I was eating a French fry and the thing, and then shout outs to our friend, our homie Joe, who had a chicken suit.
Oh yeah.
Right, bro.
Almost forgot about that.
A chicken suit. Hopefully he gets shown on TV. It was crazy, but it was a great time. Had a great time.
No, absolutely. So we're gonna move on topics, and so guys, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get a little bit. This is a little bit of an emotional topic. This is breaking news that just happened. And there's been an announcement that former WWE Diva and she'd been just kind of getting back on the independent scene. Ashley Massaro has passed away. This is breaking news that's just happening right now. So I just wanted to announce that.
WrestleCon, dude.
Was she at WrestleCon?
Yeah, we saw her. I saw her at WrestleCon. Maybe you guys didn't see her, but I saw her at WrestleCon.
Yeah, I did.
I'm looking it up, and there's no announcement on how she died yet, but she passed away unfortunately today, guys. So maybe we give our thoughts on Ashley, since this will be the last time we talk about her, more than likely,
I didn't really.
Sorry to change up the time. I just wanted to announce
that took me for a loop.
Yeah.
That and the Ric Flair news today.
Yeah.
Which is false, fake news. So as far as the Ashley, how do you say her last name again?
Massaro.
That's just sad, man. I don't know what's going on in professional wrestling where all these wrestlers are passing away so early. I mean, she was super young. How old was she, Nick?
39.
Dude, she didn't even hit 40 yet. Mickey James I don't know how old Mickey James is, but Mickey James is around that age and she's wrestling a full-time schedule and she's a mom, and she has a great quality of life still. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a drug situation or alcohol-related situation. I don't want to talk bad about the dead, especially when they just recently passed away, man. But we really need to figure out what's going on in professional wrestling with these wrestlers dying so fast. It's becoming an epidemic. It has become an epidemic. And when, as fans, do we get involved when we say, hey, look, we appreciate everything you guys are doing, but you guys need to come together and find some type of way to ensure that you guys are taking care of yourselves. And when do the wrestlers step up and say and demand from these companies, whether it's WWE, even in AEW, which we'll talk about later, a Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling, where they say, hey, look, we are putting our bodies on the line for the present, but in the future, we're going to need you guys to take care of us. because this situation is getting ridiculous. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to speculate though because we don't know. We don't know the circumstances of her death yet. So
I'm not trying to speculate, but
no,
it's ridiculous how many people in wrestling is dying now. It's becoming too frequent.
For how small of a group of people it is too. It's not. It definitely isn't good. I'll tell you this too. She sent out a tweet thanking fans for fan mail less than 24 hours ago too. So I wish I could say more, and maybe by the end of this podcast I can update it if it's something legitimate that I can actually put out, because I'm a big guy. I there's certain sources I don't listen to, and there's I try to get the facts, especially with something like this that we're breaking news here on the podcast. And we're not live obviously, and this will be presented tomorrow when most people know about this too. But that just sucks. I mean, I remember her most. She was kind of one of the first divas I can really remember because I started watching in 2005, and so she started I believe in 2006, 2007. And I remember her being in the Mickie James Trish Stratus storyline going into WrestleMania 22, and she was on Diva Search, and she was featured, I believe it was in Playboy or one of the magazines too, and that was a big deal.
They hated Matt Hardy at one point too.
Yeah, true. No, she was involved in the wrestling. She was trying to make a comeback. She kind of semi-retired in 2008, and she was just kind of getting back into wrestling in 2017. That's probably why we saw her at WrestleCon too. But it just sucks. I want to let you guys know that before we kind of moved on, or we got a little maybe insensitive about this kind of stuff on the podcast, and just just in case. I just want to let you guys know that. What's that?
That dampers my mood.
No, that's for sure. And I was actually, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to hold off on doing something I was going to do on the podcast because of this too, a little bit later in the show. But yeah, so, Eric, do you have anything to say about Ashley?
Yeah, it's very, it's still early to speculate, like we said. But that tweet, it's kind of telling me, and I don't want to jump on the conclusion, but maybe she may have had some personal problems if she hasn't been seen that much. It's just coming to the point where, I really don't know what's going on with some of these wrestlers. Dying young, and until we get the facts straight, until we get everything, sealed, actually see what the hell's going on. I just hope my condolences are to the families, to her parents, her relatives, everybody out there who has been close to Ashley, close friends, condolences to them. Just hope that whatever breaks out, just hope that it's a reliable source, and it's just hopefully we get to see what happened. I just hope that people may see some of this, maybe learn from this experience, because it also happens in music too. Sometimes these musicians also put out thanking fans, like a tweet. In the world of hip hop, in the world of hard rock, they do that all the time. But sometimes, these things, when these things happen, it's kind of easy to point fingers, or easy to look at. She may have had personal problems or suicide or whatever. But I don't want to jump on the conclusion, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, rest in peace, Ashley Massaro.
Yeah, just a couple. I mean, the one detail I can see from this is that she, again, by the time this podcast comes out, we know that most of you guys will probably know what has happened. But for what we know so far, is a rescue call at 5:20 this morning that was called. So I don't know. That you could speculate, and kind of put your opinion on whatever you want with just based on knowing that. And the police were told there was no foul play committed as well. So, yeah, it just sucks. I mean, like you're saying, RKJ Man, it's just, and like you were saying, Eric, too, as well. For such a small group of people in the professional wrestling business, there is a lot in the last 10, 15 years that have passed away. And even before that, too, it really does suck.
And there, in the next 5 years, there may not be another type of WrestleCon, because all these superstars could be gone or could be on their last legs. I mean, we've seen so many legends pass away. I mean, even today I was freaked out as I saw that Ric Flair was allegedly rushed to the hospital, I was freaked out. I was like, if Ric Flair dies, and all we got left really is Hulk Hogan. And how many more years is he gonna go? I mean, he's walking slow every day. It's just a situation for me where it's like, if you're a wrestler in today's industry, you don't need to be working 300 days a year. If you can find a way to have a schedule that can pay you money, that can ensure a good quality of life, and maybe you have to work half of that time and you can work half of that time, and maybe you get another job, or maybe you're working somewhere else, or you have some type of profession or trade. At Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, they announced a guy who was there who became a doctor. You know what I'm saying? So there are other things outside of wrestling. You can still pursue what you want to pursue, but still have a job on the side to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, these wrestlers, you don't have to go balls to the walls all the time. You can sometimes it's okay to take a break, and if they're handing that contract to you and it's saying they're demanding you to have these amounts of dates, and even though you're an independent contractor per se, they're saying you have to show up to this, you have to do this, or else don't sign it. It's that simple, because we're seeing the consequences of it right now with these wrestlers dying.
Well, yeah, but RKJ Man, what are you saying though, that no wrestlers should wrestle? I mean, because it's like you're joining. It's like saying you're signing with an NFL team and you don't want to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get, it's more of the responsibility of, I feel like WWE and I'm forgetting the guy's name that did this on HBO. John Oliver kind of brought up to light a couple months ago, about how it should be the wrestling companies that kind of help their players out, a lot like the NFL is, I believe, starting to now with some of their players with the concussions and all that stuff. And I believe the NHL does it too. And wrestling still doesn't do it, at least, or wasn't doing it for a while. So yeah, that just, sucks. We were kind of, we're excited about, talking about, there's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about on this podcast, but I just wanted to bring this up, and we can end it right now before we kind of get somber and we don't get excited about the next couple topics and stuff like that.
I was ready to go in about All Elite, but basically what I'm saying, Nick, is like, as a wrestler, you have the opportunity to kind of pick your dates originally. So if a company is coming to you and saying, hey, we want you to work 300 days a year or something like that, or some type of crazy schedule, and your body physically can't take it, then you don't need to put yourself through that pain, because then, we see it now, these wrestlers have to compensate by going to drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. So that's basically what I'm trying to say here. You don't need to, take this schedule if you don't need it and your body can't handle it.
I get what you, no, I understand what you're saying, and we don't need to argue about that either, because I think we could probably end up agreeing at the end anyway. So, but yeah, so rest in peace, Ashley Massaro. It sucks. She was kind of one of the originals. I have a lot of the video. We were just talking about a couple of video games today where we know she is featured. So that blows. Another one, unfortunately, is gone from us, and I'm sure the WWE will do something nice, and maybe even All Elite Wrestling will do something nice for this next weekend or week down. So and we don't know the circumstances yet, but sucks. Ashley Massaro has passed away at age 39. All right, we do need to move on, and we're going to move on to the announcement of at the TNT Upfronts. Or excuse me, what's the name of it? It's the Warner Media. Okay, yeah, I know. I saw Conan O'Brien made fun of that too, the fact that they changed the name to something that sounded so awkward. But yeah, so long story short, All Elite Wrestling is going to be on TNT. They're going to have a weekly professional wrestling show, and this is from what we've been talking about, the closest thing to competition as WCW back in 2001, and you can maybe throw in TNA for a couple months there back in the day as well. But
coffee.
Yeah, no, exactly. They tried, and they were another wrestling alternative that I did watch occasionally and knew of, and especially with some of the stars they had, I definitely watched. But this is a little different. And RKJ Man, I want to give you the floor on this because you've been the most excited about this. You've been talking about this. I mean, I see you just getting ready and.
yesterday morning, literally when the announcement happened, I literally was one of the first people who saw it and started promoting it on our social media as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
Basically, all I'm going to say is this. If the rumors are true and that they could be starting October 1st, Vince McMahon, you have 5 months to get your house in order. You have
Yeah.
5 months to get your house in order because AEW is coming for WWE's booty hole. Okay, the fact of the matter is this. It's very, very, very simple. It's
Guess
very
I'm using that term, man. This is supposed to be a somewhat family show.
Kind of getting a little wrong here, you know.
well.
I
Look,
might have to start bleeping that out, man. Jeez.
look. The fact of the matter is this. Here's the fact of the matter. All right.
What's the time, Eric? What's it? 24? Yeah.
Yeah.
24, yeah.
Look, you said I wasn't good. You said I was too somber last week.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So, so here's the thing: the WWE has delivered a product that we can say is subpar. This past week, the ratings came out for SmackDown, and it hit an all-time low. Not to mention the fact of the matter being is that right now, rumors has it that Triple H is the most frustrated man in the WWE right now. Nobody could get to Vince McMahon, not even Bruce Pritchard, who people consider Vince McMahon's right hand, can't even get to him. His own family can't get to him, allegedly.
Well, again, and like we talked about, those are rumors coming from
I'm using the term allegedly.
No, I know, but you're stating it as, you can say allegedly, but you're pronouncing it like WWE is falling apart.
It's rumors, okay, but I can say that it's fact. Fact, the WWE ratings have declined.
True, yes, true.
Fact, the product has been on a decline for several years now. Fact, they have not had any type of competition since, honestly, WCW and ECW closed their doors. And now we get AEW. And how ironic that Tony Khan uses in his statement the words alternative, and that fans have been longing for something different, something fresh, something unique. I think this is a great opportunity for AEW to prove to the world why wrestling could still be popular. And they have something going here because they haven't even had their first show, and they just got to deal with TNT. I mean, we see AEW guys hanging out with Shaquille O'Neal. We saw that yesterday on our social media timelines. I mean, it was the definition of surreal. I mean, seeing that logo, I mean, the logo is cool. I show it to my dad. I show it to my brother, and those, and they don't follow the product. They don't watch wrestling, but even they are interested in it. They look at it and they say, that's cool. This looks promising. I just think that WWE has got to get it together because the ratings are starting to fall apart. And then you have this announcement with AEW. I think in wrestlers, apparently, internally, allegedly, rumor has it, there's several rumors going around that wrestlers are upset and frustrated with their creative staff. Rumor has it that creative is frustrated with Vince, and they get upset because Vince is making all the final calls and all the final decisions, and they're putting forth great ideas, but it's not getting it, and nobody's listening to it. Vince isn't listening to what they're having to say. I think this is the perfect time for AEW to come out. Something new, something fresh, something exciting. I like what they're trying to do with the analytics approach. Now, I'm not a math guy, but what they're trying to do is trying to make it more sports-centric. So instead of having wrestling storylines maybe that we feel insult our intelligence, they're trying to just start off with more matches, more action, more excitement. Kind of like something similar, I guess, to what we see in NXT takeovers. So if that's what we're going to see on a consistent basis, I'm very excited to see what this new show could be. And then you have people like Jim Ross, being associated with it, Earl Hebner. And then, of course, you have the members of All Elite the members of the Elite, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, all of them, Hangman Page, you have all of them being associated. It's something new and fresh. And a lot of people are saying, well, AEW could be WCW 2.0. Well, here's the thing. AEW has a whole bunch of young superstars that we really haven't seen or hasn't been exposed to us as much as we have seen wrestlers in the WWE. And they're going to expose them come this fall, I guess, whenever they debut this new show. So they're going to promote new and fresh stars, and they're going to promote talent from inside, homegrown talent, if you will. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is the closest we're going to get to Monday Night Raw, to a type of a war situation between two companies. And I just hope that this lights a fire under Vince McMahon to actually produce a product that fans can be happy with and be satisfied with, because competition is good and healthy for the wrestling business. Because I don't want the WWE to go down in flames either. But right now, it just looks like from within, they're doing it to each other, to themselves from within. And AEW right now is the perfect alternative right now. So I'm really excited about that.
Eric, what are your thoughts on this new development? I know because me and you have not been I'm trying to get you guys back on the screen. I know where okay, there you go. I lost you guys on my screen for a second. What's your thoughts on this? Because me and RKJ Man could argue all day about WWE and AEW, and I probably will in a second. But I want to get your perspective on this because I know you're a WWE fan, and you obviously do the Indy update every single week, so you do follow the stuff outside of WWE. And so what does this mean to you? What can AEW compete? Do you think they'll compete? What are your thoughts on this actual now for sure news that AEW is going to be on TNT?
Well, I think this argument is going to be the same as always, and I think it's not going to stop. Whether AEW wants to say that we're not competition, but WWE would like to say they are competition, or somewhat manipulate us to think it's competition. And if the rumors are true about Vince and the creative team being frustrated with each other, then I'm going to say what I'm going to say on the messaging. The old man is stubborn. I'm sorry to say. It seems to me that the guy, if it's true, he just wants to take credit for all the ideas that he has. And if whatever happens, it sounds to me like it's kind of taking care of like the grandfather of the family, and then not listening to everybody and just does what he wants, and he'll probably only listen to like one person. But that's just a different take if the rumors are true. With AEW, I have yet to criticize the show because it hasn't put out one product. I guess you can say All In was sort of an event, but that was great. Double or Nothing is coming up next Sunday, which is something next Sunday or Saturday. I'm not sure.
May 25th.
Okay, 25th. So
that's on pay-per-view, by the way.
Yeah. So okay. So there's another thing to be excited about. What I like about Double or Nothing is that now we know a number of wrestlers have been released from WWE, or a number of wrestlers from the independent promotion are looking for work, or they're probably being announced. And I know some of the guys from Championship Wrestling Hollywood, they're going to be over there, or probably at StarCast. Now, I actually like the unexpected of what's going to happen if this person joins, or this person makes an appearance, invasion, whatever. I like that unexpected part of Double or Nothing, and that could lead to the events of what's going to happen in October for AEW for TNT. Now, TNT, I thought that they would be signing to a different network, but it looks like TNT, they picked them up. They're back in the, should I say, wrestling business, Turner would say. That's something to look forward to. But yet, to me, what I like about it is that there's more wrestling. Okay, that's what I like about. At the end of the day, what it really comes down to it, and I think every wrestling fan should agree to, is that there's more wrestling. It's kind of like with music. We see another person doing his own thing, like a group of, artists. They like Wu-Tang Clan. These guys, they've been around. They created a legacy and they decided to go their own way, and which means more hip hop, more music. More great music. So some of the guys from WWE, some of them disbanded. Well, guess what? They went to go on to do their own thing, and it's more wrestling. And for us, it's a win-win situation. And if this is a way to try to, make WWE wake up, if this is a way to like wake them up with complacency and with all the things that's been happening, with all the rumors that are happening, then we'll see, who wins the overall war. But to me, I don't know if it's competition. I'm hearing from both sides. Competition, not competition. I don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to wait and see in October, who's really going to be, talking the real thing, who's going to be really backing up the entire argument,
Eric, let me ask you a question real quick. do you believe in these rumors that, where there's smoke, there's fire? Do you believe with these rumors that there are some legitimacy to these rumors that all this stuff is happening internally in the WWE and it's kind of getting a little crazy back there backstage?
I think it's always been chaotic in the back. I think it's always been like that. I think that maybe the reason why it's being taken notice is because we have a new company, being signed. Now it's being taken notice. So there could be somewhat of a tactic to say, oh, WWE, you see those guys over there, you see that building over there on fire? Oh, they caused it, because we're coming, we're the new kids on the block, so we're doing something new. These guys, they're overreacting. So I think it's always been chaotic. It's just that it's been taken notice now that AEW's come on, to light with the TNT deal. But yeah, but if the rumors are true, it could be the fact that maybe Vince is stubborn, or that's why I'm a little bit afraid of some of these NXT stars going to the main roster, because some of these wrestlers from NXT, they're kind of floating around, or some of them actually found success, but very few of them are kind of like, just floating, But I don't know. But we're gonna have to wait and see in October to see what's really gonna happen, if it's gonna be war or not war,
Yeah.
Nick, I need to know what you think. I got a little bit of it late last night, but I said let's save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
I have a lot. No, I'm absolutely down, and I want this to be a debate, and I want us to try to figure out what we're each talking about, because to put some, okay, so obviously I've joked about being the WWE apologist on this show, but that is just simply because that's what I've grown up on. There hasn't been, like you mentioned, there hasn't been really any competition. I know when you guys watched back in the day, I don't know if you watched when there was competition with WCW, but you were watching when it came fresh off of that. So it was a little different than probably. I didn't start watching until, '05, like I said, '06, really paying attention like weekly and monthly. And so I've never seen, besides TNA, right, a couple weeks, a couple months, whatever you want to say, there really has never, to me, been competition for the WWE. So when I see that AEW is forming and I'm looking at this and I'm seeing all the names, I'm going, okay, that makes sense. Cody Rhodes is really popular, and Kenny Omega is really popular, and the Young Bucks are really popular, and Jericho's popular, and all this stuff. That's fantastic. But one of the points I've always made about AEW is they don't have the star power right now. And so I'm not going to come out here and say that AEW is just going to take over the wrestling universe, because I guarantee if you ask casual fans that don't know us and don't know that we're wrestling fans, a lot of them are not going to know in any way who Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, or Kenny Omega are.
So how did they get the deal on TNT then, Nick?
What's up?
How did they get a deal on TNT if they don't have the star power?
Because they're run by two billionaires that have had success with a football team that almost made the. Oh no, does Shad Khan own Arsenal or Liverpool?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, so he owns a Premier League team, and he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars that have achieved somewhat success, and his son has been a successful businessman in those ventures too, Tony Khan. So I think that's why they got the TV deal, and I think TNT's willing. Shows take risks on shows every single year. You see at these upfronts, certain shows are canceled, certain shows are not. You'll see Netflix cancel shows, add shows, and then cancel those same shows a year later. For all we know, if AEW just doesn't pan out, they just get canceled and TNT moves on to a new show. I don't know. I've been looking up all day how much money that they were given for this. I cannot find it. I don't know where it is.
Company, they're not going to release it.
No, they're not going to release it. But I do know something for sure, is that Fox gave the WWE $1 billion. I can guarantee TNT didn't give AEW that much money. ESPN Plus only gave UFC the Ultimate Fighting Championships, the main MMA thing, $750 million for their entire company. WWE was given $1 billion for the secondary show, the number 2 show. So that's where I'm going to go with this. And if you look at the upfronts for NBC Universal, who was there? The Bella Twins, Ronda Rousey, and John Cena. Who was at the TNT upfronts, Cody Rhodes, and a bunch of what a lot of people would assume are independent wrestling guys. I don't want to shit on them either because I respect what they do, and I'm actually excited for Double or Nothing. I'm excited about AEW. But when we talk about sinking ships and WWE falling apart, it's simply not true. WWE still dominates the wrestling business. People are still throwing more money at them. They still have better star power. So, like I've said this entire time, it's a wait-and-see approach with me. If AEW is more entertaining, I will start to follow them. But for right now, I'm not going to go on this thing and say that WWE's falling apart and WWE's over and AEW is going to be the new wrestling and all this stuff. Because RKJ Man, you are projecting that type of sentiment on this podcast.
I'm not saying that the WWE is going to crumble completely down. I'm saying there's cracks starting to form.
And what cracks are they? Because you're speculating rumors, but you're speculating rumors from a guy, Wade Keller, that covers professional wrestling that isn't associated with the WWE, and the source that you're getting this from is a disgruntled employee. With
possibly WWE. A disgruntled employee.
So exactly, there's a lot of possibilities, maybes. This sounds like
about the fact that the ratings are the worst it's ever been. Let's talk about the fact that people are not tuning into the project as frequently as they have been. And it's alarming to me that TNT, a major network, Warner Media, would come up to this starter wrestling company and say, we're interested in having you on our product.
It is very interesting.
Yes. It's very weird to me. I don't know how they did it. You speculate that it's because of the cons and because of the whole situation going on with with them having these major sporting professional teams. Yeah. I could say it's because that TNT sees what the WWE has done with Fox, what they've done with NBC Universal, and they see a potential market for wrestling fans out there.
I actually agree with that too. Yeah,
there are wrestling fans out there who aren't being catered to because WWE storylines and because the WWE product is not working out for them. So they've tuned out. I just don't know what is going on in the WWE to where they can't put on a somewhat respectable product every single week. And so that is why people are going to AEW. And that's why you've got networks like Turner coming to AEW and then negotiating something on AEW to get something on TNT.
Yeah, no, I get all that. That makes sense, and I actually agree with you. I think the TNT sees that there's a market for wrestling, and that wrestling's popular, and that they threw money at. Again, we don't know how much money they threw. We don't know what this production's going to be like. It could look more like an independent wrestling show than a WWE production, which are produced extremely well. But
I said that we would have the production of WWE.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And they do. And what's funny is too, you were forgetting that. TNT can give them all the money they want, but the cons are billionaires. They can pay for it themselves, right? WWE, they're getting help from Fox, obviously, and stuff like that to produce even a better product. But obviously, if you sign something to that much money, you are going to have some say in it, and you're going to do all that. But I just think even, I was thinking of a point, and I'm kind of blanking here, so hopefully I'm going to get back to it. But
we're all tired here. We all had long days, but
well, yeah. No, for many different reasons. But you look at it, and Fox threw so much money at WWE because you said that a major network like TNT. Okay, well, Fox is bigger than TNT. Fox is bigger than TNT as far as producing. They produce the NFL. They produce the MLB playoffs. They you know what I'm saying? And so does Turner in some ways. But Fox has, when you look at big games, a lot of times you're turning to Fox at those big games. The World Series, the NFL, the Super Bowl every 4 years or 3 years, whatever it is. So, and then they had the UFC for a while too. You were getting big UFC events. So, I just still think that until WWE starts losing guys to AEW, and AEW really does start beating them in the ratings, again, I'm not going to come here and say that WWE is falling apart and that AEW is the better solution because I didn't watch All In, and there's been one. That's the only show that's happened. So we're literally just speculating and hoping that these guys do well. And I don't want to shit on guys. I don't want to, to AEW are great in the ring. Very, very good. There's nothing wrong with what they do. But when you go and watch Raw or SmackDown, and which I did, I watched both shows, the wrestling is better, the performers are better, and it's still a better product than independent wrestling.
Then why are the ratings tanking right now?
Well, because we've talked about that. It's kind of this is the time where there should be an off season for wrestling. And after WrestleMania, you can't reciprocate. You can't do what WrestleMania does. You can't get people as excited about WrestleMania as anything else. It's why a lot of these football leagues, and it's why the AAF failed, this year too, because after the Super Bowl, which is an unbelievable game and such a spectacle, people, they still have a little bit room for football after that. But then after a while, they're like, nah, I'm kind of done with this. I don't need to see more football. I need to take a break. I've been watching it since August. So I think that's why the ratings are down. Again, October, like Eric's saying, and I'm glad you keep saying that, Eric, come October, when there is literally a direct competition, the first week, which we're hearing the rumors of, the first week that SmackDown is on Fox, AEW went in, and they're going to go on Tuesday that first week. I love that. They're taking SmackDown's spot that was supposed to be on USA. I love that. What's up?
You know what's funny? I think in actually helping your point about the cons and how they have this association with the NFL teams and how that helps them with networks, I think somebody might have hinted in Fox, allegedly, maybe told Khan or something, maybe his friend, maybe a friend or someone or network is there to say, hey, SmackDown's getting moved to Friday night. So maybe he was like, well, SmackDown's getting moved to Fridays. Maybe we could take their own position on Tuesdays, because people for a few years now, about 3 years, have been in the whole SmackDown is on Tuesday night thing. Yeah. So why can't AEW go on the Tuesday night thing? Anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I completely agree with you. I'm just saying, to Eric's point that he was saying earlier, when you look at it, we're not going to truly see this competition until they're directly competing. And that's why bringing up the rankings, or not the rankings, the ratings right now is kind of irrelevant, because there is still no competition. They're getting way better ratings than AEW right now, because AEW gets a fat 0 on the ratings every single week because there is no TV show yet. So they don't have to. And I think if you look at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which we're going to talk about in about 30 minutes here on this podcast, is that, or maybe even less, Money in the Bank is stacked. And so obviously that's not your television show every single week, but you're looking at a steel cage match. You're looking at 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. You're looking at 2 huge title matches, including a dream match. Becky Lynch is defending her titles twice on this pay-per-view. That sounds like SummerSlam to me. Okay, so I think WWE does get it. And although they're getting low ratings this week and they didn't put on the best shows ever, I do believe that we're not truly going to be able to talk about this until about December, January, when you've talked about always how the ratings always increase and you're starting to get on the road to WrestleMania. That's when we'll see if the ratings are still low then and AEW is getting great ratings. I'll agree with you, and I will give you all the credit for calling it in the beginning. But for right now, I just cannot come out here and say that WWE is falling apart and that AEW, just because they signed with TNT, is going to succeed. Because I look at the way the AAF did after the Super Bowl this year, and they literally failed. And there's a dog in the background of Eric's shot right there. What's the dog? What's his shot to that dog? What's the dog's name?
Canela. It's cinnamon in Spanish.
Canela, like spelled like Canelo with an A?
Yeah, with an A. That's what
dope.
It is. Yeah.
Canelo. We just saw Canelo Alvarez pass on the season.
Yeah.
But so, Eric, I'll let you finish off, unless you have something else to say. But I think we probably should move on. I think we can talk about this all day, and we probably will continue to talk about it on other podcasts, but we have other stuff to talk about. Eric, can you kind of finish this off? What are your final thoughts? What do you think about me and what me and the RKJ Man say? And pick the winner of the debate if you want to pick that too.
Well, I think you guys both make great points. That's for sure. You guys make great points. I think just the fact that until there is, a show on, you know, come October, we're gonna see what happens because right now there's really nothing, Double or Nothing is
Yeah.
next day. That's something to look forward to as all of us wrestling fans, and they've been promoting it heavily, for quite a while now. I think it was like right after WrestleMania when they started promoting it. Uh, Definitely something to look forward to. As far as winter goes, uh, you know, it's really hard on this one because
You don't
Brian
have to
Paisley-
be the one.
Just say Black Stradamus. Just say it. Just say it.
I'm just gonna call you RKJ Man. I'm just gonna call you.
Exactly.
Black Stradamus.
Uh,
You can
just
predict anything.
yeah, just like what Jared said about saying that I'm just gonna call you Ryan. I'm just gonna call you RKJ Man.
Black Stradamus is going to be right next January when AEW is making these super big ratings and WWE on the road to WrestleMania is tanking in the ratings, possibly.
Yes, there is something about
Call it
about it.
now, like you called CM Punk.
If this
you
this
called CM Punk, I'm calling it
if
now.
if this promotion does succeed and if it does wake up WWE, because WWE, there was a time when they were actually going to go bankrupt. This is back in '87. They were going to go bankrupt. I felt like they were going to go bankrupt because they were getting their asses kicked by WCW. So this isn't the first time they got their asses kicked, but this one I don't know. I really don't know because they got the machine, the corporate machine that is, to back them up, and they got so much money. They still got fans. They still got a lot of star power. Whether we like it or not, whether we like some of these storylines or not, they're still going to win at the end of the day. But until then, until AEW comes in, if AEW does find a way to try and knock down WWE, we might be seeing a competition coming up, and they finally might wake up and they finally might say, hey, I think we've been making a lot of mistakes. I think it's time to really get back into the competition mode. So, and it's win-win for both of us, for all of us, the three of us, the ring general, and it's going to be a win-win for all wrestling fans worldwide.
Opportunities everywhere. Let me ask you this. Let me just say this real quick. It is concerning to me that Vince McMahon, how old is he? 74?
He's around that age. He's
in his 70s. It's concerning to me that you have three young people in your family, Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, why he hasn't given a bulk of his responsibilities over to them. It's really concerning because in your 70s, your mind is not what it was 20, 30 years ago. It's not there. It's not as sharp as it can be. And you're not in tune with what's going on in culture like you are when you're in your 40s or your 30s. But Triple H and Stephanie, they're in tune to what's going on. Shane knows what's going on. I mean, we see Shane every day rocking the newest Jordans on SmackDown Live. So why is it that Vince McMahon has complete and total dictatorship of the WWE, even in his mid 70s? Why can't he give some of this to Triple H, who's smart, who's doing something smart in NXT? Why can't he get some of this to a Shane McMahon or some of the other, or maybe have Bruce Pritchard come along and share some responsibilities like that? I just don't know if this turns into a ratings war, if Vince McMahon in his 70s can still handle it like he could 20 years ago. I said this earlier.
Guy's jacked, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's jacked here, but up here.
Well,
not there anymore.
Is he gonna live this year? Just kidding.
What? No, sorry, Eric. What do you say?
I'm gonna say, like, is he gonna be alive by this year? Just kidding.
I mean, look, Triple H taking over the WWE. If Vince locks Triple H, if they sit down and Vince says, you know what, I'm doing this XFL thing. I haven't been putting on the best product. I'm going to go leave and focus on XFL, and I'm going to give you behind the scenes secretly, you, Stephanie, Shane, Bruce, some of these other writers, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to run the company, run these shows. We could get a truly fantastic ratings war.
That would be the worst thing ever to happen to AEW if that does happen, though. If Triple H is running WWE and you have Shane involved, you have Stephanie involved, you have Shawn Michaels involved as well, and Bruce Pritchard, like you mentioned, and all these great writers. Dude, that would be the worst thing to happen to AEW. So what AEW is praying and hoping for is that Vince stays up.
Being the dictator of the
they're
WWE.
being smart.
And so, and it goes to my point, because Vince McMahon does not want to let go of the WWE until he literally dies. He literally said in an ESPN interview that he hopes he never dies so he can always be able to control the WWE. It's insane.
Yeah, this goes back to my point. I feel like he's still going to make decisions on his deathbed. Okay?
He is going to make decisions on his deathbed.
Okay.
At this point in the game, he needs to let Triple H, Stephanie, Bruce, Shane, whoever else who's there who's smart, young minds back there, he needs to let them take over, who are fresh, who have fresh new eyes on the product, who are out there. You know, Triple H, has been able to recruit talent in NXT that we can see on a Monday night at Coastline Clash and make them relevant stars. It can happen. But you just need to have the proper support and the proper backing of the writers. You need to have great storylines. And Vince McMahon is just going with the same old every single week. I watched half of Raw, and then I heard Becky Lynch say something about there's something great to be back in London, and I turned it off. Because I know what they're doing. They're making her a white meat babyface. They're taking away the badass Becky Lynch.
Well, they weren't. See, here's the thing. If you would have watched the rest of the segment, they didn't do that. So she actually called all of them out and made fun of their looks. And Lacey Evans said something about Becky Lynch having a dick and stuff like that. So you missed a good segment, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bleep that out too.
Okay, you cannot say booty hole and I can't say dick. That's not fair. That's not fair.
But he can say the N-word, right?
No.
That is offline. That is one road I will never cross on this podcast. Never. Okay.
What else can we say?
I also will not cross that line either.
Say that I'm going to where you live and I'm punching you in the face, bro.
Yeah, please.
Knock on the door, punch you in the face, leave.
I'm moving soon, so I'm gonna say it right after I move. You're not gonna know where I am. No, I'm totally joking, obviously, but it's gonna be interesting. And Vince, I'll say this: it's going to be I don't want to keep saying interesting over and over again, but it's going to be very interesting to see how Vince does take up another competition, because AEW will be competition, okay? And it's whether he beats them or not. That's what ends up happening, because there's not going to be two wrestling companies. There's no way that can withstand. And one of them eventually will win out and be the more superior, because wrestlers are going to want to go to one or the other. I know there's a lot of wrestlers that get paid a lot. And I was even I saw a quote from Jim Ross that said there's certain wrestlers that aren't even on TV that got doubled their pay, or are getting $500,000 from WWE to stay and not go to AEW. So there is that people get paid a lot more and stuff like that. But I do think that wrestlers will want to wrestle with the best company and want to get the best opportunity for their own brand and stuff like that. So there will be a winner of this, and we'll see how many years it takes. But I personally am going to go with the one that's won every single time, and that's WWE. So
New England Patriots.
Why not? Why not go with Bill Belichick as Tom Brady? RKJ Man, you can pick the LA Rams, or you can pick the New Orleans Saints, or you can pick the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are a better example. I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots. Even on my sports podcast, I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Salt your hat.
We gotta wrap this.
And the Cardinals. My bad.
Yeah. Cardinals. Yeah. So we're going long, and I know, but this is the hottest topic in wrestling right now. This is the hottest topic in multiple facets, because TNT is being involved in this, and I expect them on this Eastern Conference Finals broadcast someday to promote AEW, and I even saw hints of it with Kenny Smith saying body.
That's not hints. I was watching that exact segment. He was talking about him crowd surfing into the crowd. It had nothing to do with AEW. Stop with the rumors and the.
Let's get
the rumors.
He didn't even watch the segment, bro. He didn't even watch the segment.
Look, here's the thing. By the way, Shaq would have killed all those people.
100%.
He would have killed them all. Look, here's the thing.
Killing on television.
AEW has a plan. TNA, they really didn't have a plan. They just said, oh, we want to compete with the WWE. We're moving to Monday nights. We're going to get all these old superstars. Their plan wasn't really clear. You know, all these other companies that have tried to come out and sort of try to compete with the WWE does not have a plan. AEW has a plan. They have a vision. They have a purpose. They have the financial support. And now they got the damn network, TNT, and a cool logo too. So get ready. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how I'm watching Double or Nothing, but I know I'm watching it. I've heard rumors that the Bleacher Report live app is going to play a major part in that, but I heard it sucks. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I've never had Bleacher Report live app.
I haven't either. Yeah.
So I'm gonna download it because I can't download it on this computer. Unfortunately, it's only on your phone or something. So I'm gonna probably buy Double or Nothing on pay-per-view. I'm going to spend the money and show the support for AEW, and I hope they pay me back with a phenomenal wrestling show. And they're already predicting like there's gonna be some stuff that is going to be crazy at Double or Nothing. So I just can't wait to watch it. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
I'm excited about Double or Nothing. I am excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about AEW on that October 1st or whatever date it is. I will be watching, and I will try to watch the pay-per-views. And we do a podcast anyway, so I need to stay up on that stuff anyways. But I'm trying not to shit on AEW here. I'm just saying that I'm going to go with the one that has won every single time. And that's WWE, and I'm not going to go away from that and just say, oh, this new company with a lot of WWE cast-offs and younger stars that are just joining and really getting their names in the business are going to beat a conglomerate that still could bring back The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan and John Cena essentially any week they wanted to. So
no empire stays alive forever. Rome didn't stay alive forever. Some of these major companies in the 1920s are dead now in 2019. So eventually something's got to fall. You know, Rome's got to burn eventually. And Empire's got to go down eventually. And, you know, I don't know. This is very interesting, as you said. And I'm just looking forward to what could happen in the next year of the AEW WWE saga, because it's happening now. And AEW is playing it very smart. And unfortunately, by the WWE acknowledging that they're a competition, they're giving more exposure to AEW in a way.
Well, they haven't acknowledged. We just assume.
Fame. Triple H was making jokes about AEW being a pissant company, and that Vince will still buy that pissant company just to fire Billy Gunn again. Shawn Michaels said, "We're glad that you could be all in, Billy Gunn, with us," and all that stuff, and making all these jokes, these inside subtle jokes at Billy.
That is not WWE coming out and saying that AEW is competition. That is Triple H making jokes at Billy Gunn. But
they're kind of doing them a favor in a way, if you ask me. So you can actually thank DX for that, to, you know, help expose more of AEW. So that's how it is. I wouldn't call it more of an insult. I just think that it's hilarious, but then at the same time, it's just making more people interested in the product on AEW, and people on the eyes in October, you know.
And why would Vince approve that type of speech where he mentioned AEW? I'd be like, even if Billy Gunn's from AEW and invite him over, I'd be like, no mention of AEW.
RKJ Man, do you really think Triple H cares what he thinks? Like, do you really think Triple H cares what Vince tells him to do?
Like, still in the damn company.
No, but but realistically, if John Cena comes back, is his promo scripted? Nah.
Of course not.
If The Rock comes back, is his promo scripted? No. If
not.
Triple H is doing his Hall of Fame speech, do you think he gives a rat's ass what Vince McMahon tells him he can't?
But I think Triple H is also a smart businessman, and he knows what lines to cross to as well. He knows what is good business and what is bad business. I think he knows this AEW thing could potentially also be good business for him.
Absolutely true. No, it'll be interesting. And with the whole XFL thing and the AEW now coming on, this next year of wrestling will be insane. I predicted to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I was originally, I know we scheduled kind of a way to do this podcast before, but I actually, since RKJ Man and I kind of dominated that conversation, Eric, I want to let you do your indie update right now. And go with that, since we are going to kind of stop talking about the independent wrestling scene after this. So I'm going to give you your say and do your segment right now. So this is Eric's indie update.
Well, first and foremost, another death this week. Rest in peace, Silver king
Absolutely.
of AAA wrestling, CMLL, WCW also wrestled there too. Great wrestler, great luchador. Definitely one of the all-time greats. But what happened? Wasn't it this week that happened that he died in the ring due to a cardiac arrest with Juventud Guerrero? It was it's a sad thing that happened. Hearing of Silver King and also hearing about Ashley's death is just unexpected. So yeah, condolences to Silver King's family, everybody down there in Mexico. Definitely, it's one of those things that you really don't want to see, in the ring. But unless the show goes on.
Yeah, rest in peace, Silver King. Absolutely.
Yeah. So CFFC, a MMA promotion that CM Punk is now a part of. He's actually enjoying his time as a commentator.
Okay.
So this is what he said on MMA Junkie. I'm there to call the action, give a little bit of perspective because I've been in fights, I have been in that position. All these fighters, I want to help them get to the UFC. I'm that guy that goes to the concert, and I see a band, and I want to be able to say I saw them play at a bowling alley, and now they are headlining because I really truly love the stories and the triumph of the human spirit. So these are the words from CM Punk, now the commentator for CFFC.
What the hell is CM Punk going to teach any of those guys about getting to the UFC, bro?
I have no clue what he's talking about.
You know what he's going to tell him?
He's trying to make a dumbass analogy, and he's that guy who tries to go backstage and get his ass kicked by security. He's that guy.
Bro, see, what the only advice CM Punk can give him, what is CM Punk going to give them? Hey, you need to join professional wrestling for 10, 15 years, get famous enough so you can join and get your ass whipped twice in the middle of the ring.
CM Punk, just admit you want to go back to wrestling, bro.
Yeah, come on. Just make my prediction right and just come back on that October 1st first AEW show right there.
No, come back on next Saturday at Double or Nothing. And let's just move on with this, man. Stop doing this.
Yeah, it's very it was kind of weird by seeing it, but although you can check it out on MMA Junkie, the radio interview, check it out, please do. Yeah, it's very it's I don't know if he's I actually don't want to shit on CM Punk, to be honest. He's one of my favorites, but
it's fine, Eric. I will. I will.
I love CM Punk too, Eric. I love him.
Yeah,
I loved his 2011, but the fact of the matter is this: he didn't do anything in MMA and UFC, the biggest stage of them all. So I don't know why he's coming in there and acting like he's some grizzled veteran who's wrestled about 100 fights. He's done 2 fights. And he's got beat at both of them. One of those fights, he only lasted 20 seconds, I think.
I rather hear
right.
I rather hear the advice from Jake Hager. Even though Jake Hager, we'll talk about
Jake Hager's
dude don't know how to let up on a submission.
We'll talk about that later. We'll actually talk about that later with Jake Hager if we have time.
This podcast might be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. So
for me.
Yeah. So King of the Cage, their event is going to be called River Wars. It's this Saturday over at Parker, Arizona. Nick's
what was
backyard.
that, King of the Cage?
King of the Cage, MMA. Yeah, so it's going to be at the Blue Water Resort and Casino, Parker, Arizona. I'm not sure if it's near Phoenix, Nick,
Parker, Arizona is not near. It's not in the Phoenix metropolitan area, no.
No, okay, so it might be far away. Okay, so if you're in the Arizona area.
Depends on where you live, though. Depends on where you live.
So if you're in the Arizona area, check it out, please do. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, a big Father's Day event will be coming in next month, so be sure to be on the lookout in Aurora Hills, and it's going to have wrestlers like Eli Drake, Scorpio Sky, Eric Watts, so many others, Peter Avalon, so more details, more to come for that. There wasn't that much, in the Indy update, so we're just going to get to the dream match of the day. Didn't really have a dream match, but, if I really want to throw out another dream match, have from the boxing world onto the MMA world, and I know this guy, he's going to be fighting soon. His name is Deontay Wilder, and I would say make this happen. I really want this match to happen. Deontay Wilder in the future against Anthony freaking Joshua. I want that.
Damn right, Eric. Call it out.
It's a matchup that's got to happen.
It's been, I don't know what's the hold. It's a lot of ducking. I don't know what's happening, but it's got to happen this year or I don't know. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
I 110 million% agree with you that fight needs to happen in the next year. That fight needs to happen for sure, no doubt. Okay, so my dream match. I was actually gonna do boxing too, and you stole my guy, but I will stick with him too. Deontay Wilder does fight May 18th this weekend, so I'm gonna go with Deontay Wilder versus Mike Tyson.
Oh,
so that's
Mike Tyson, right?
What's up?
A young Mike Tyson.
Of course, no, it's a dream match. It's what Tyson in his prime.
Holyfield's ear off. Is this before or after the infamous biting?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just when he was in his. It's when he was in his prime. I would not call that his prime, but it was when he was at his most dangerous. Because I think Deontay Wilder has the hardest punch ever in professional boxing. So I believe he would have the knockout power and a chance to beat Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson would be favored in this fight, but that would be my dream match because I think Wilder's the best heavyweight right now, and I think Mike Tyson was the best heavyweight, recently than anybody else.
It's kind of funny to mention because there was a quote that Deontay Wilder said that he would have loved to face, and he would actually beat young Mike Tyson. But
I mean, that's kind of what my dream match is.
Yeah.
I think Wilder has the big. He could literally just hit someone with a right hand and the fight's over, right? So if he could hit Mike Tyson, isn't immune to that. So that's my dream match for sure.
RKJ Man?
This is not going to be boxing or wrestling. This is going to be something that I was talking about earlier to you today. I was up this morning and I was listening to some of the old music from SmackDown versus Raw and the video game I used to play back in the day. So, Eric, you're the video game aficionado. SmackDown versus Raw going up against Here Comes the Pain, what some people consider to be the greatest video game from the WWE of all time, the greatest wrestling game of all time. Which video game is the better video game? Which game wins? Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown versus Raw.
I think Here Comes the Pain had better content. It was put out more content because before that was WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, which was an overall improvement over the SmackDown games for the PS1. For the PS2, it was a great improvement because they added more stars from 2003 for Here Comes the Pain. And plus, it was also another time when they actually had Brock Lesnar on the cover on that one. It had, Brock Lesnar, had Torrie Wilson, had Undertaker, it had John Cena, on the cover. I thought it had more content, more matches. Just the wrestlers looked pretty awesome, just how their face structure was. I think that, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is, one of the best out there. If not, they said that was probably the best game since WWF No Mercy for the N64. And I have it in the back. No Mercy, and that game was an overall improvement over WrestleMania 2000. No Mercy was basically built around The Rock, and The Rock was like the star in No Mercy because WrestleMania 2000 was like Austin, he was like the star. But I just liked how each game at the time it was like improving, making things a lot better, adding more content. I just think that Here Comes the Pain had more content. SmackDown versus Raw, great game. I just thought the star power that they had in Here Comes the Pain had more than SmackDown versus Raw. I just think that SmackDown versus Raw was very limited. But what I liked about SmackDown versus Raw is that they had more backstage brawls in the back. That's what I liked that they added. And I think they had the Buried Alive match, I think that was the first time. I'm not sure, but yeah, just the overall difference. But Here Comes the Pain. That's the game. Go for it.
Please, I hope you can on this channel do a whole season of like a Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown versus Raw's, the No Mercy 64. That'd be so cool. I hope you could one day because that's dope.
I'll try to do that, because I don't have the capture card because in the capture card you have to use that in order to hook up your guessing your old games in order to play onto the computer or PC. I've still yet to figure that out. I'm not like a tech guy when it comes down to that, but I'll probably talk to my cousin, and I'll probably talk to one half of the Video Game Cafe, Luke.
Shout out to homie Luke, man.
Yeah, shout out to him and
help the regionals out, brother.
Yeah, undisputed Luke.
Right?
Undisputed Luke.
Yeah.
Undisputed Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Never forget.
Never forget. Undisputed.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, Eric, great dream matches. That's a good one, RKJ Man, that you came up with there. That was creative. I like that.
Do more of those.
No, absolutely. So we did, Eric, me and you did talk about boxing. So I want to just transition really quickly to this. Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale this weekend, and this is Wilder's favored. And in usual these kind of fights, you just expect Deontay Wilder to win, but there has been a lot of different kinds of shit talk this week and the last couple weeks, and Deontay Wilder has took it to a whole other level, speaking on hoping or expecting and warning people that Dominic Breazeale could be one of the few boxers to die in the middle of the ring this Saturday. So I just wanted to get your guys' take on this. Do you think it's okay for him to be saying stuff like this? Do you think it's too far? What is your take on just that element of this fight? And then you can make a prediction as well after. But so Eric, I know you kind of follow boxing a bit more than the RKJ Man, so I want to get your thoughts on this. Deontay Wilder, has he gone too far with the way he's been talking about Dominic Breazeale?
Well, first off, in the words of the RKJ Man, we're probably going to be seeing a first ever live on Killing on Live television. First ever, if that's going to happen.
It is on Showtime TV too. It's if you have Showtime, it's free. It doesn't cost anything this week. So
yeah, I do think that he kind of took it a little bit too far, but then again, it's pretty much good promotion if you ask me. Because there's going to be a lot of eyes on this match.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so. Even if his words went, a little bit out of bounds, I think that, it's good promotion for this Saturday. And these guys, they're going to put on one hell of a fight. Now, for Deontay Wilder, he never said those kind of comments to guys like, Tyson Fury, any of his past guys.
Never. Eric, looks like Eric had a little technical dip.
Eric, come back.
Yeah. Okay, so while he's fading away, RKJ Man, I'll while he's frozen a bit right here because he's still on the call, which is interesting too. But
Eric the Undertaker.
RKJ Man, do you what is your thoughts on this? Do you think he's gone too far with this? All right, Eric's back. Eric's back, so I'll wait for your. So what happened there, Eric? What?
Internet. That's one. Yeah.
No problem. No problem. You're back. But so what were you saying? You were finishing off. I think you were starting to talk about how this could benefit the fight.
Okay, so basically what's gonna happen is, the fight is gonna be benefited towards the comments, even though it went out of bounds. But I really think that the fight, if I really want to give my prediction for the fight, it's gonna go with second round. I don't see it going long distance.
Wow.
Because I think that, there's been a lot of heat or a lot of anger built with Deontay Wilder, and I think he's going to back up what he said, and he's going to want to finish that fight quickly. I really don't see it going long distance.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting take. RKJ Man, what do you think? Do you think the comments have gone too far?
I think it's all about promotion. I think the two camps got together and said, what can we do to generate the most eyes on this fight, thus generating the most money in this fight? And Deontay Wilder is doing what he can do in order to get as many eyes on this fight as possible. And he's doing a damn good job because boxing is not the only sport someone could die in the ring. We see it we've seen it in MMA. It's happened in MMA. It could happen even in football. It could happen in basketball. Any sport that you partake in, there's that little risk.
Hockey.
Yeah,
Hockey, that you could die. The wrong hit, and it's over for you. So, Deontay Wilder is clearly just trying to do this to hype the matchup up. I don't think he has enough heat with this guy in order to be making those types of comments. It's just a strategy done, by these two camps in order to ensure that they get as many people watching this product and talking about this product as possible. And they're doing a great job at it because we are talking about this and people are interested in this. And it was a very scary quote. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think Deontay Wilder needs to make these quotes anymore, okay? But I'm very excited to see what happens on Saturday night. The night before my graduation, I may be streaming this at work. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's I'm gonna be doing something that night, and so I'll have to watch it later or Sunday morning or something like that. But yeah, no, I'm definitely watching. I have it taped. I have it ready. I'm ready to go. I do not, the way he said the comments, I don't think they've gone too far. He hasn't said I'm going to murder him and I'm going to beat him to the ground until he dies. No, he's saying that he hit so hard that he's going to hit a bit harder to try to knock out Dominic Breazeale, and if he ends up dying, he ends up dying. You know what I'm saying? So it's not he's not saying he's going to kill Dominic Breazeale and that's his intent. He's saying if he ends up dying, that's the sport of boxing, and that's kind of what happens with their past and when you attack somebody's brother in a hotel room and stuff like that. So, I don't think he's gone too far. I am excited about this fight. RKJ Man, you didn't make a prediction. So what do you think is going to happen in this fight, first of all?
By decision.
By decision?
Yeah.
That's interesting take, too, because he tends to not throw as many punches as a lot of other fighters, too. So I think what you're kind of predicting is that he'll go out and he'll really try to beat down Dominic Breazeale.
That happened against Fury. I feel like the
thing with Fury was he was waiting for a knockout kind of the whole time. He would have lost that fight if he had knocked him down twice.
He got one opportunity and Fury was up like the Undertaker.
Or like unbelievable.
Gross.
still the craziest boxing match I've seen.
I can't believe that
comeback.
He rolled up and died and just looked at him and said, "I'm ready to go." I could not believe it.
Yeah, no. And you can debate or not whether the ref helped him out on that case, but it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I do think Wilder wins, and I'm gonna go 7th round. I think he feels him out a bit. Dominic Breazeale will probably win the first couple rounds, like most championship boxing matches end up being when there's a heavy favorite. But Breazeale's not good enough. And I do think that Wilder, he talked about with that Fury fight, how he kind of got in the moment too much. And that's why he would have lost if he wouldn't have knocked him down. I think he'll be more sharp. And I think with his comments and the stuff he said, he does need to be more sharp, and he's going to win this fight. And I'm going to go 7th round knockout. And I think it's going to be brilliant, magnificent, the knockout that he's going to do to Dominic Breazeale. So I'm excited about that. We all are. But yeah, Deontay Wilder. We all have winning the bronze bomber. All right, so moving on, we're gonna do Nick's random segment of the day, and then we're gonna get to Ryan Rants in a second. And so I've been redoing some of my house lately, and I cleaned out my room today, and I found a couple of really interesting things. Some of this is stupid, and other things are very interesting. I just wanted to show you guys what I have here. So. I have it.
Swimsuit edition. Page Van Zet's swimsuit edition, right?
What's crazy is just wait till the end. Eric, just wait. I can't believe you just said that, but just wait till the end.
Oh boy.
Just wait till the end. Okay, so I found this. This is a newspaper in the Phoenix area, the Arizona. I believe it's the Arizona Central, talking about WrestleMania after I did go to WrestleMania 26. They had a whole edition of the paper. You see Fozzy, Chris Jericho involved right there, and you see the little WrestleMania logo at the top. So I found this newspaper article that was dedicated completely to coverage of WrestleMania 26 from the Arizona newspapers when they were there. I have this ridiculous, if you can see this right, it's like what you'd get on an airplane, but it's WWE guys. It's from, I believe it's from WWE Magazine.
There. I was like, why is there a fat guy out there? Like,
Big Show. Yeah, Big Show. Umaga, rest in peace. Batista, Viscera, rest in peace. Man, there's a lot of dead guys on this thing, man. This is a weird podcast we're doing today.
This is dark.
Yeah, no, Jeff Hardy doing Swanton Bomb out of the window. So I thought that was kind of cool. Just a couple WWE magazines I found. They don't print these anymore, so it's pretty cool that I can still have these. Randy Orton on the cover right there. Nice. The WWE magazine Power issue. You see Brock Lesnar, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan's kind of. I believe this was around WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 30. 14. And you can see they still advertise at $9.99 on the back.
Yeah. About that.
Let me find. Yeah, so I got this too. This is a a poster, a Ryback on a ladder. This is again.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
And a cartoon AJ Lee.
AJ Lee.
Got
Wow.
AJ Lee, the wife of CM Punk. And then I got two giant posters.
Always love her. All right,
got,
everybody froze.
Everybody froze? No, we're still here. I can still see you guys. Eric's still moving.
I think that's Ryan.
It's just Ryan. So Eric, I'll show you. We're gonna still do the podcast.
Yeah, we're still gonna do it. Keep the show going.
Did I?
You froze,
yeah, that was you,
man. You froze.
I think it could be your internet connection.
It said there was a connection. The connection's interrupted.
Well, here. Okay, so look at it. Can you guys see this poster? This is a WrestleMania 27 poster.
Ironically, I was gonna go to this WrestleMania, but I was there. I was gonna get some tickets to this, but it didn't happen.
So, they used to do these in WWE Magazine, and so on this one you can see it's Kelly and Eve.
Yeah.
I believe it's in Iraq during the This is back when they used to go to Iraq to do this stuff. It's pretty cool.
Kelly has gotten
and
hot.
they have like fake ass signatures on there too, which is cool. And the last one, the best one. What's up? What are you saying?
Kelly has gotten hotter since she's left the WWE.
I agree with that.
Just like Tori Wilson.
And then the best one of all is the poster at Triple H that I found. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm going to be revealing too that I found in the next coming weeks. I found some really cool old school magazines from the 80s too. And then I also found this, and this did not. I also found this. Eric, I cannot believe you said this. This is a swimsuit edition from 2011. I found this too. I can't believe you said that. It's just unbelievable.
No, I actually
was living wild out in these streets.
Yeah. I actually thought that you actually got the
on the cover.
Swimsuit edition of Paige VanZant, of this month.
No. It's Irana Shake. I don't know who that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kate Upton's on the wrong camera. Kate Upton's in the corner.
Oh, yeah, I seen that one. Yeah.
You guys can do the rest of the podcast. I'm just gonna look at this for a second.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. All right.
It's just been stuff. I've been cleaning out my house lately, and I've been finding a lot of WWE stuff, and I wanted to show this stupid swimsuit edition. I can't believe you guessed that. And you didn't
collection,
even,
right?
Guys, literally, I did not tell them I was gonna do that before, too. They didn't even know what I was gonna show here. So, amazing. But it's time to get serious. It's time to get to Ryan Rants.
Let me hurry up and make this quick before my connection gets frozen again.
Yeah, do it.
Leo Rush, my friend, you are the definition of a dumbass. The fact of the matter is this. I've waited for weeks to see how this situation was going to happen. I waited for weeks to give you an opportunity to maybe make it right or explain yourself or maybe have more facts come out. But in this situation, you are completely and totally in the wrong. First of all, number one, if you're broke, you don't put up jewelry, your wife being on vacation on social media. You don't do any of that, okay? If you're broke, you ain't got time to go on vacation. All you got time to do is go home, sleep, eat, and try to make some more money. Okay, so I don't know what you're doing going out on social media trying to create a brand. You are not a hip-hop superstar. You are a professional wrestler in the WWE. And on top of that, guess what? They don't really want you there. They want you there. You're a mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. So guess what? If they tell you, hey, you need to carry Bobby Lashley's back, it's not a racial thing. It's a respect thing. Because if it wasn't for Bobby Lashley being the WWE, there is no Leo Rush. The fact of the matter is this: while he's a phenomenal talent, his backstage issues have been the cause of his demise. Allegedly throughout his whole entire wrestling career. Allegedly in Ring of Honor, he had issues with his attitude. And then on top of that, you get to go to the number one wrestling company as of right now in the world, the WWE, and you continue to have this pompous, arrogant attitude. And then you got the audacity bringing race into it. Look, I'm a black man in America. I know when somebody is trying to be racist against me. This isn't about race. This is about your ass being humble enough to carry another man's bags.
Look at the WWE champion. It's just unbelievable. They'd say, hey, no.
Look, the fact of the matter is this. I get it. You're trying desperately to rely on these movements and Black Lives Matter movement and all this and everybody being more aware of the racial issues in today's society and using that to kind of help your cause and kind of saying, hey, look, as a black man in America, I shouldn't be carrying another guy's bags. First of all, the other guy that you're carrying is black too, number one. So that kind of erases your point in the first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Two, Mark Henry cornered you and said, guess what? He did the same thing for Yokozuna, and he didn't look at it as a black thing because Mark Henry was doing it as a respect thing for the business. The fact of the matter is this: sometimes in life, you just got to pay your dues, okay? Be okay with paying your dues. Don't complain. And by the way, spend your money right, okay? Don't be out here doing dumb stuff, okay, with your money, because we're not going to feel sorry for you when you say that you're broke and you can't afford car fare. Maybe instead of buying that wonderful, amazing car that you use to travel from town to town, maybe you get in and pack in with a couple of wrestlers and you share gas and you share the rental fare. Maybe instead of staying in a Marriott hotel, maybe you stay at a Six Seasons, okay, or whatever the name of the hotel is, the crappy hotels. Maybe you stay there, okay? You got to find some way to live. Because the fact of the matter is this: sometimes in life, you're just going to have to take it until you get your opportunity. And when you get your opportunity, you kill it. Stone Cold Steve Austin took his opportunity and ran with it. The Rock took his opportunity and ran with it. John Cena took his opportunity and ran with it. And so many other wrestlers. I can go on and on and on and on. Take your opportunity and run with it. But be patient until then. And don't ruffle anybody's feathers. Learn from this, okay, Leo? Don't be stupid. And because you are doing this now, you're taking the WWE off of your Instagram page, and you're saying I'm available for bookings. You think an AEW, you think an Impact Wrestling, or Ring of Honor want a guy to come in like you with such a terrible attitude and be a part of their roster when it's all about morale and positive backstage morale? What are you thinking? Leo Rush, you don't have much time to get it together, and you're only 24 years old. You better get it together soon. I'm the RKJ Man. I'm always shooting my shot for greatness.
So he's now the 24 piece of gold, right? 24-year-old.
24-year-old bankrupt piece of gold in the second. Because how much more cash flow can you show on your social media and brag about it, and then come out and say, "Oh, I'm broke. I'm broke in the highest paid WWE or in WWE." It doesn't make any sense. It's not smart. It's not intelligent how he's allegedly spending this money, and he deserves the criticism from people like Mark Henry, who has cornered him, another African-American man in the business who knows the struggles of African-American men in the business, and say, "Hey, can I help you?" And he said, "No, everything's good." That's BS. If there's something wrong, just say it, man. Just say it and deal with it. Let's find a way to deal with this. Let's reason together. That's a Bible verse. Let's reason together. But instead, Leo Rush wants to divide himself from everybody, and he's going to suffer the consequences. And he's suffering it right now. And his paycheck is going to suffer too.
100%. I agree with literally everything you said there. So yeah, Leo Rush. I don't know. I mean, you got to figure out his life, man. Like, you don't want to do the same thing that everyone else did, and like because I just made the comments that he's making it about race or whatever. The WWE champion's black. The top title in the company is black. And if you're looking at paid dues, Kofi Kingston might have paid the most dues of any superstar ever in the WWE. So how much does that disrespect Kofi Kingston? It's like, nah, I want to be a good right now. I want to be champion right now. No, it doesn't work that way, man. Sometimes you do have to wait 11 years to become the WWE champion, and then you get this great payoff, and everyone loves you, and everyone thinks you deserve. You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with you. I think he's way out of line saying that kind of stuff, and I could care less if Leo Rush is in WWE anymore. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is we actually saw his debut too.
Yeah, last year in Ontario.
Insane.
Only a year. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the time he was just a mouthpiece. All right, so we do need to move on, and we started talking about WWE. You mentioned Leo Rush, so we're gonna get to just kind of quickly predicting Money in the Bank to end this podcast off. We don't need to get into storylines because I think there's just a lot more important things going on today in a lot of facets and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of go over the matches. Like I mentioned, it's a stat card here. Let me just make sure I got this up right. And we can kind of go through it, and again, we'll announce who won the thing like we always do. We haven't had a pay-per-view since WrestleMania, correct? Yeah, WrestleMania. Yeah, so we'll see. And I forgot who won the one for WrestleMania. I forgot.
I don't think we ever addressed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll address both next time then. Good point. Good call on that. All right, so why don't we start? We'll do the Money in the Bank ladder matches last. for this. And so we'll go Roman Reigns versus Elias. What do you think?
The big dog.
Yeah, I agree.
Big dog. Yeah.
Roman Reigns. Let's go Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio.
Samoa Joe. I think so.
Samoa Joe.
50
RKJ.
looking. I'm going Rey Mysterio.
I'm gonna go with Mysterio too. I think his son gets involved, and it develops something because I've heard his son can wrestle too. I think his son's gonna eventually have to wrestle Samoa Joe. So I'll go Mysterio too as well. We got a singles match for the Cruiserweight Championship on the pre-show. Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari.
What?
Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari, Cruiserweight Championship
I don't
match.
know who they are. Who's
Don't
the
know who Tony Nese is?
Who's the champion?
Tony Nese.
I don't watch 205 Live.
But we saw him at WrestleMania though.
I don't watch 205 Live. I forgot who he is just a month after seeing him live in person. Tony Nese.
That damn Philly cheesesteak, man.
Yeah.
And that Philly cheesesteak was phenomenal, even though I had to wait like an hour. But Tony Nese. Who's the champion? Tony Nese.
Tony Nese, yeah.
Tony Nese is winning.
Okay.
Tony Nese is still champion.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, who cares?
Wrestler Street Walmart.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos non-title match.
I heard this is on the pre-show, by the way.
It's
a travesty.
There's no title match though. That's why there's no titles on the line.
Okay. Well, This is gonna be a phenomenal matchup, but I still think that Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan are winning it. By the way, shout outs to Daniel Bryan. Just coming back from injury, just getting another championship. Just getting the tag team championship, just handing over to him, man. That's great. I love Daniel Bryan, man. So Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan win in a very hard-fought, competitive matchup with the Usos.
Yeah, it'll be a good match. I'm gonna go with Bryan and Rowan too. I think they want to legitimize them as the SmackDown champions, and having the Usos, a Raw tag team, beat them wouldn't do anything for the character. So I'm gonna go with Rowan and Bryan as well. Eric.
Same for Rowan and Bryan. Definitely going for those guys.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move to Becky Lynch now, and she has two matches. So her first match against Lacey. Well, we don't know which match is actually going to start off the show, and I think it whatever match starts off the show will kind of be see-through, I believe, of what's going to happen. But I'll actually state this in this way. I think if Becky Lynch faces Charlotte Flair to start this show, I believe she'll beat Charlotte Flair, and she will lose to Lacey Evans. Okay, in some crazy weird fashion. If the first match is Lacey Evans, I think she beats Lacey Evans, and then she loses to Charlotte Flair. I don't think she's going away with both titles at the end of this pay-per-view. So I'm going to go with a little double, and it does depend on which match is first. So I'm going to give both predictions. But I think my main prediction is she loses a title. I just don't know which one. Eric?
No, you can go, RKJ Man. You can go.
Thanks. I'm going to make a bold prediction right here. I'm going to say it. Money in the Bank is the night that Becky Lynch will lose both her titles. It will become Becky No Belts.
Wow. Crazy after WrestleMania too.
She'll lose it within a month. I think Becky, what's going to happen is if they're going to start her trajectory back up here, they got to have her experience some type of loss. She's got to experience some defeat, a really bad defeat. And on the night that she defends both of her titles in the first time against Rookie and her most competitive villain, or the person who she's fought against the most, in Charlotte Flair, I think what's going to happen is Lacey Evans is going to surprise her with some type of roll-up that we're not going to expect. She's going to try for a finishing move. Becky Lynch is going to try something else, and Lacey Evans is going to find a way to roll her up and win that match. And I think Charlotte Flair is going to take advantage of an injured, fatigued, and surprise Becky Lynch to capture the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. That is going to be dope. Becky No Belts is going to be trending on Twitter on Sunday night.
By the way, if you guys have a Money in the Bank scenario cash in, wait till we say who wins, and then you can announce that. So Eric, if you're gonna say that, or RKJ Man, you were thinking about saying that. If you think like maybe one of the titles gets taken away via the Money in the Bank, wait till you pick your winner and then mention that. Okay. So Eric, what's your prediction just with these two title matches?
I think like right after WrestleMania, I think that Becky, she's gonna come out on top. I don't see her losing her two belts just yet. I think it'll probably, I'll see her like maybe lose her belts like maybe in the summer, but not right now. So Becky.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. No. So I like it. We all said different things. I like when that happens. I said one of them. She losing one. You said she's not losing any, and Ryan said she's losing everything under the sun. Yeah. Perfect. That's gonna be a deal breaker match when we go back to these things. Okay. All right. Miz and Shane McMahon, the steel cage match. Who wins this one?
Miz.
I think Miz is gonna win this one. Yeah.
I'm gonna actually go with Shane. Because I think the way a steel cage works, you don't necessarily have to win super convincing. You could escape the cage. I think he'll get help from guys not on this pay-per-view. Maybe Bobby Lashley, something like that, come out. Maybe the B team. And I think it's actually there's going to be a third match in this saga, I believe. So that's why I'm going to give it to Shane. Considering if Miz wins, that's kind of the finality of the storyline. And I do think there's going to be something else, potentially maybe Hell in a Cell later down the line or something like that between Miz and Shane. I don't know when Hell in a Cell is, so I could be wrong about that. But I do think there's going to be a third match, so I'm going to go Shane finds another way to win again.
Okay. That makes sense.
Eric, what are you saying? You're saying...
No, it makes sense. That would make sense then.
No, who'd you predict, though? I forgot.
Oh, I said Miz.
You say Miz. And then RKJ Man, you said Miz too? I totally forgot for some reason. Okay. All right. So that's a good one too. And then let's see. We're going to go with Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens, WWE Championship match.
Kofi. Kofi's still champion.
Kofi.
Okay. I'll go with Kofi too. I think I would have maybe said Kevin Owens on this if he hadn't defended his title twice in 2 nights and won. I think that kind of legitimized it more, and I think they wanted to legitimize him as a champion, so I'll go with Kofi as well. Rollins versus Styles, dream match, Universal Championship.
Rollins.
RKJ?
Rollins wins, but AJ Styles starts showing a heel turn.
Ooh. I'm going to go Styles wins. And I think I'm going the same thing with you. I think it's starting to heel turn. And he'll find maybe a cheap way to win. Low blow, something like that.
Or how about this? Maybe Brock might interfere because I think
that's a good point too. Yeah, now that we know he's kind of more committed, that could happen. But I'm gonna go with I think Styles will win. I think that's gonna be one hell of a match, but I think it will end weirdly. A little disappointing because I think they want this to be carry over all the way to SummerSlam. So I think this match will be good, but I don't think it will be the best one in the entire saga. And I think it will end with some screwy, weird stuff like Brock or like him cheating to win or something like that.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to the Money in the Bank match, we'll start with the women's match, but I think this one has maybe a little more see-through of who could win this match. I at least see the men's one being a complete wild card. I'm still thinking about it right now. Who's gonna win? So I'll predict this women's one first. I think it's gonna be Naomi that captures this title. And by the way, real quick note, Alexa Bliss is not in that match anymore. She's been replaced by Nikki Cross due to injuries. I just read this on this thing. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So it's Nikki Cross now in that match. But I'm gonna go with Naomi. I think they want to promote Naomi enough. They know how athletic she is, and I think she'll win. She'll win Money in the Bank.
Who are the women in the Money in the Bank match?
So it's Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Bayley from is that? Oh wait, no. Okay, so yeah. So I'll restart. Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella, and Nikki Cross.
Give me Bayley.
Okay.
This is the perfect way to start a heel turn for Bayley.
I got you. And
the Money in the Bank contract.
All right, Eric, who you got winning this women's match?
I'm gonna go a little crazy on this one. I think Ember Moon might win.
That's not that crazy though. I was kind of thinking about her too. I think she's been kind of hiding in the shadows a little bit because they might want to just give her this title.
Yeah.
Or at least the briefcase. Do any of us think that this gets cashed in this night?
No, not me.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so. Even if this person would, I don't think it would succeed.
I think the one that would do it would be Bayley. Imagine RKJ Man. Imagine if she wins both titles and Bayley cashes in, turns heel.
That would be great.
That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way I could. That's why I'm glad someone said Bayley. I think that's the only way it could get cashed in, and really be an unbelievable, great moment.
She's the top superstar in that match. She should win the Money in the Bank contract.
That's true. That's true. All right, so moving on to the men's, you have Sami Zayn, who is taking the place of Braun Strowman after he beat him. And I believe Braun Strowman's injured. That's why they knocked him out of this. Ricochet, which I cannot wait for. Drew McIntyre.
Gonna go off. Jared is gonna go off in that game.
Yeah. Shout out to Jared Smith. So Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and of course Randy Orton. Dude, this match I almost hope main events. I obviously you want the chance of a cash in, but I hope this is the main event because I could literally see like 6 guys winning this match, legitimately, and I'm gonna pick one, and I think it's gonna be I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre on this one. Because the guy deserves the WWE Championship shot and might as well just hand in the title. But I'm going to go with McIntyre on this one, winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Baron Corbin's in this match, correct?
Yep.
I think there's going to be some screwery, and he's going to win that Money in the Bank ladder match, bro. I think Baron Corbin is going to go for his redemption for the WWE Championship with his terrible outfit. Yeah, I think he's going to win the WWE Championship at some point, or the Universal Championship. I can just see it now. Baron Corbin, give me Baron, because this Money in the Bank contract is honestly mostly like a heel type of thing. It's a cheap way to get a championship.
True.
Well, why not have a person who's the cheapest heel of them all now, the whole group, Baron Corbin, go and win Money in the Bank?
Well, I went with yours too. When I said McIntyre, I was thinking the heel thing too. Eric?
Damn it, RKJ Man stole mine. I was actually gonna say Baron Corbin.
That's why I got him first.
The guy has such a dry personality, and the thing is that he's the kind of guy who would just piss you off, and he would cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase on that night and just find a way to, piss us off and be a Universal Champion. It's a perfect way for Baron Corbin, but at this point, Baron's got to really just drop the TGI server gear. I'm sorry. He's really got to drop it. Okay, he looks like a server. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good analysis. So you guys I'm surprised. I did not think you guys would say Corbin.
Wait, Eric, who did you pick again? I kind of didn't.
I said Corbin. You
said Corbin.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You guys have fun with that one. When McIntyre wins, I'll get a win on this one. But okay, and then none of us think the men, no cash in for the men either.
Nah.
Okay. No. Okay. I don't think so either. I said I think it main events, so I don't think it will. Yeah. All right. So yeah, very solid podcast, guys. I think that do we want to say anything else? Mention anything else about this? About anything? I think we covered most of it. We're at hour 45 right now, so we probably should end it. Again, unfortunately, during this podcast, a little bit before this podcast, unfortunately, Ashley Massaro passed away. So condolences to her family. Rest in peace, and just sucks. But we wanted to mention it, and we wanted to give our credit to her. And she was, like I said, I grew up kind of with her as one of my main divas. So that really sucks. Only at the age of 39, passing away. So, RKJ Man, if you want to take it away, go ahead, sir.
Social media, right?
Well, it's on the beginning. It's at the beginning of the podcast.
Raise a glass in the sky and salute the ring general.